My sister mocked my wife's gift and called it cheap garbage in front of everyone. So I responded by taking her Audi, canceling her rent payments, and demanding every cent she owed me. All right, Reddit. I spent months supporting my sister financially because she was going through a rough patch until she humiliated my wife in front of everyone and mocked her handmade gift. I burned every bridge and destroyed her. Grab some popcorn and enjoy the shit show. I'm Simon, 29 male, and I climb power poles for a living. Lineman work. I'm the guy you see in a bucket truck fixing lines during storms, while everyone else is at home whining about their internet being down. It's dangerous work, the kind where one screw up means you're toast, but it pays decently, about $78,000 a year, plus overtime when Mother Nature throws a fit. My wife Eve and I have been married 3 years. She's a third-grade teacher, makes about $45,000, and somehow doesn't lose her mind dealing with 8-year-olds all day. We live in a decent house outside Akron, drive paid-off vehicles, and actually have savings. Crazy concept, I know. Eve's the type who makes things. Not as a hobby, but because she actually enjoys it. She quilts, does woodworking in our garage. Last Christmas, she made her parents a dining table from scratch. Took her 4 months. Her dad cried when he saw it. That's who she is. My family? Whole different story. My dad, Isaac, 57, used to run heavy equipment until his back gave out, and diabetes turned him into a medical liability. Now he's on disability, pulling in about $1,900 a month and acting like the world owes him something for getting old. My mom, Marla, works as a receptionist at a chiropractor's office. Together, they make about $4,500 a month. Their mortgage is $1,600. Add utilities, insurance, food, and dad's medication, and the math doesn't work. But instead of downsizing or adjusting their lifestyle, they just called me whenever the numbers didn't add up, which was every single month. Then there's my sister Riley, 27, 5'3", and convinced she's destined for greatness despite zero evidence supporting that theory. She's been finding herself for the past decade, bouncing between retail jobs and community college classes she never finishes. She's got this thing where she'll post a photo at some trendy coffee shop with a caption like, "Treating myself because self-care isn't selfish." And then 3 hours later, she's texting me, asking to borrow money for gas. It started the way these things always do. Small favors that turned into expectations. Dad's truck needed a new radiator. Mom's car registration was due. Riley's phone got shut off because she spent her bill money on a music festival. Every time it was temporary, every time they promised to pay me back, and every time I was the bad guy if I didn't jump fast enough. The first big hit was Dad's truck. He'd been ignoring a noise in the engine for months because it still drives fine. Then it died on the highway during rush hour. The tow cost $180. The repair was $3,100. His disability check was already gone on bills, and Mom's paycheck was a week away. So I paid it. What else was I supposed to do? Let him be stranded? That opened the floodgates. Every problem became my problem. Water heater died? Call Simon. Property taxes overdue? Simon will handle it. Mom's car needs new brakes? Simon's got it. I was covering at least $900 a month of their mortgage shortfall. Their car insurance, internet bill. I even paid for their security system monitoring because Mom was scared to be home alone. Eve tried warning me early on. We'd been married for maybe a year when she first brought it up. "They're using you," she said. Not mean, just stating facts. They're family. They need help. There's help, and then there's enabling. This is enabling. I didn't want to hear it. Eve's parents are both retired accountants who actually planned for retirement. They don't ask their kids for money because they don't need it. My family operates on a different system. The Simon will fix it system. Looking back, I can pinpoint the exact moment it shifted from helping to getting exploited. But I didn't want to see it. I wanted to believe I was being a good son, a responsible older brother. What I actually was? A chump. My coworker Trent called it out one day. We were up on a pole replacing an insulator, and I mentioned having to cover another bill for my parents. "Brother, you're not helping them," he said. "You're letting them stay children. Adults figure their problems out. Children call daddy when things go wrong. Except you're the daddy now." He wasn't wrong. But families are complicated, right? You don't just cut people off because they're struggling. Except they weren't really struggling. They were just bad with money. The real insanity was Riley's boutique thing. 2.5 years ago, she showed up at our house with a business plan. An actual business plan. She wanted to open a boutique clothing store in one of those trendy outdoor shopping centers. High-end women's fashion, curated collections, the whole Instagram aesthetic. "This isn't just retail," she explained. It's experiential shopping. Women want to feel special. I'm creating an atmosphere. I'll give her credit. The research was good. Market analysis, target demographics, competitor pricing, projected revenue. She'd even found a location and negotiated a lease. The number she needed was $52,000. That covered the lease deposit, renovations, initial inventory, marketing, and 6 months of operating costs. Eve's response when I told her was immediate and firm. Absolutely not. She's my sister. She's 27 years old and has never held a job for more than a year. You really think she's going to run a successful business? But I was already halfway to talking myself into it. I contacted a contract attorney named Colin through a guy on my crew. We drafted a proper loan agreement. 6% annual interest, 48-month term, monthly payments of $1,250. And here's the important part. Her 2018 Audi Q3 as collateral. When I showed Riley the paperwork, she threw a fit. Why are you making this so complicated? We're family. This is insulting. It's business. You want to be a business owner? This is how business works. She signed, mostly because no bank would touch her with her credit score. The renovation took 4 months. She threw herself into it with more energy than I'd ever seen from her. The transformation was actually impressive. She turned a bland retail space into something that looked like it belonged in a trendy downtown district. The first 8 months went smoothly. Payments came on time. She sent me monthly revenue reports that showed real numbers, and the place seemed busy whenever I drove past. I started thinking maybe she'd finally grown up. Then month 9 hit. The payment was late. Not by much, just a few days, but late. Month 10, later. Month 11, no payment at all. The revenue reports stopped. Instead, I got vague texts about cash flow issues and promises that she'd catch up soon. Meanwhile, her Instagram was full of weekend trips. New outfits, expensive dinners. The boutique's account went from showing actual products to posting motivational quotes. She was spending money like she had it while owing me over $42,000. The boutique was failing because she treated it like a personal piggy bank instead of a business. Over 18 months total, she made payments. The first 8 were on time, and then things got increasingly sporadic and late. Then came 7 months of absolutely nothing. By the time I decided enough was enough, 25 months into the loan, she owed me $42,300. And she still had the nerve to act like I was being unreasonable. While Riley was running her boutique into the ground, my parents were ramping up their own dependency. I was supporting 4 adults. The worst part wasn't the money. It was the entitlement, the complete lack of gratitude. To them, my support wasn't help. It was just what I was supposed to do since I had good money. Eve stopped being subtle about it. You're enabling them. They're adults. They should act like it. What am I supposed to do? Let them lose everything? They're not going to lose everything. They'll figure it out like everyone else does. But why would they when you're always there to catch them? She was right. The breaking point was coming. I just didn't know it yet. Dad's 57th birthday was coming up at the end of October. He'd been dropping hints for weeks about wanting to do something different this year, something more special than the usual backyard cookout. Between his disability review, getting denied again, and his general depression about getting older, I figured he deserved something good. So I planned a proper celebration. I booked a private room at Texas Roadhouse for $250, ordered a custom cake, got decorations, coordinated with relatives. I even took 3 days off work. But the real gift was sitting in my driveway covered with a tarp. A 2019 Honda CR-V with 42,000 miles. All-wheel drive, clean title, extended warranty. Cost me $23,500. Their 2012 Ford Fusion was on its last legs. And with Dad's medical appointments and Mom's work commute, they needed something reliable. I'd spent 3 weeks finding the right one. Reliable, economical, safe. The CR-V checked all the boxes. I even paid for that extended warranty because I knew Dad wouldn't maintain it properly. Here's where I screwed up. I told Riley about the party. I needed her help getting Mom and Dad there without spoiling the surprise. She seemed weird about it, too interested in the details. Who else was coming? What time exactly? Did anyone else know about the car? She offered to coordinate everything so I could focus on the surprise. October 27th, the day before the party. Eve spent 6 hours making something special. Not just any gift, but a handmade quilt. A full-sized quilt with a custom pattern she'd designed herself, incorporating Dad's favorite colors and a family photo she'd transferred onto fabric as the centerpiece. She'd been working on it hard. Every night after school, every weekend. Hand-stitching sections, carefully arranging patterns, making sure every detail was perfect. I'd watched her spend hours on it, pricking her fingers, redoing sections that weren't quite right. "Do you think he'll like it?" she asked, folding it carefully into a gift box. "He's gonna love it. It's incredible." It really was. The kind of gift you can't buy. The kind that shows real thought and effort. October 28th, 7 p.m. Eve and I are sitting in that private room at Texas Roadhouse, staring at empty chairs while the waitress asks if we want to order appetizers for the table. "They're just running late," I said, checking my phone. "Traffic, probably." 7:20 p.m. Called Dad. Straight to voicemail. 7:35 p.m. Tried Mom. Voicemail. 7:50 p.m. Called Riley. Her number gave a message saying it had been disconnected. By 8:15, Eve and I were eating expensive steaks alone, while I texted every family member I could think of. None of them were responding. Other diners were starting to stare at the sad couple in the party room, with balloons and decorations but no party. "Something's wrong," Eve said quietly. "This isn't an accident." Then I made the mistake of checking social media. Riley's Instagram story, posted about 45 minutes earlier, showed a picture with the caption, "Real family celebrates together. Happy birthday, Dad." The photos showed everyone. Mom, Dad, Uncle Bruce, Aunt Christine, my cousins, all of them at Dad's garage eating pizza and laughing. Dad was wearing a birthday hat, holding what looked like a bottle of something, smiling bigger than I'd seen in months. The next story was worse. "Some people think fancy restaurants matter more than genuine love. We know better." I kept scrolling through her stories. She'd posted at least 8 of them. One showed Dad cutting into a grocery store sheet cake with "Happy Birthday, Isaac" written in blue icing. Another showed Uncle Bruce making a toast. Each story felt like a deliberate jab. Timestamps showed they'd started the party right when mine was supposed to begin. This was coordinated. Then the family group chat exploded. Riley: "Hope you and Eve enjoyed eating alone. Dad had a real birthday with people who actually care about him." Mom: "Best birthday surprise ever. So grateful for those who show up when it counts." Aunt Christine: "Isaac looked so happy. That's what matters. Nobody mentioned that I was supposed to be there. Nobody asked why I wasn't at the party I'd planned. It was deliberate, calculated. The whole thing had been set up specifically to exclude me. I sat there reading message after message, watching them all pile on. They knew exactly what they were doing. Every comment was designed to twist the knife deeper. I typed, "Interesting that nobody thought to mention this to me. I've been sitting at Texas Roadhouse for over an hour." The chat went silent for a minute. Then Riley responded, "Oh, you actually showed up to that? We figured you'd be too busy counting your money to care about family." Uncle Bruce: "Maybe next time don't make it about showing off." That's when I realized something. They were punishing me for asking Riley to pay her loan, for not being available every single time they needed money. Eve watched my face change. "What are they saying?" I showed her the phone. Her jaw tightened. "They planned this whole thing to hurt you." More messages kept coming. Riley: "We talked about it and decided Dad deserves a party with people who love him, not people trying to buy his affection." Mom: "Pizza and family beats fancy restaurants any day." Dad hadn't said anything yet. Then his message came through. "Dad, had a great time tonight. Thanks to everyone who made it special." That hurt worse than all of Riley's messages combined. He was going along with it. I sat there, staring at my phone, while Eve watched me process it all. The expensive dinner sat half-eaten in front of us. The gift box with the quilt sat on an empty chair. The balloons I'd paid for looked ridiculous now. Eve reached across the table and took my hand. "They planned this. Your sister organized this whole thing specifically to humiliate you." I typed into the group chat, "What the hell is wrong with you people?" I'm sitting alone at Dad's birthday dinner, the one I planned and paid for. 2 full minutes of silence. Then Riley: "Sit alone with your pathetic gift. Nobody wants your money or your presents." Something inside me snapped. I walked out to the parking lot, pulled the tarp off the CRV, took a photo of it with the big red bow, and sent it to the group chat. "Don't worry, I'll definitely be keeping my gift." They saw it, and they went nuclear. My phone started ringing immediately. Dad first, then Mom, then Uncle Bruce. The group chat filled with messages. Dad: "Wait, is that a new car?" Mom: "Simon, what is that?" Riley: Complete silence. Uncle Bruce: "Hold on, you bought Isaac a car?" They started calling nonstop. The chat filled with backpedaling. "It was a misunderstanding. We need to talk about this. Let's not do anything we'll regret." I didn't answer a single call. When we got home, Eve made tea and we sat on the couch. She didn't say anything, just waited for me to process. Riley told them not to come to my party. She organized a separate one specifically to embarrass me. I looked at the gift box on our dining table. 3 months of work. Hours of careful stitching. Made with love for someone who didn't deserve it. For the first time in my adult life, I understood exactly what my family thought of me. I wasn't a son or a brother. I was a resource. An ATM. I'm gonna burn it all down, I said. Eve nodded. Good. Monday morning, first thing I did was call Colin, the attorney who'd drawn up Riley's loan documents. I want to execute the acceleration clause, I told him. Full balance due in 30 days. Or I take the Audi and liquidate the business assets. That clause Riley thought was just formal legal jargon. Completely enforceable. She'd been in default for 7 months, which gave me the legal right to demand immediate payment of the full $42,300. Sure, Colin said. I'll have the demand letter drafted by the end of business today. She signed a valid contract and violated it repeatedly. If she tries to fight this, it'll cost her even more. While Colin handled the legal side, I started cutting off the cash flow. Every automatic transfer, every bill I'd been covering, every subscription, gone. Their mortgage assistance, $900 a month, deleted. Their internet, canceled. Car insurance I'd been covering, done. Even the streaming subscriptions, goodbye. Each cancellation felt like dropping a 100-pound bag off my shoulders. That afternoon, I drove straight to Riley's boutique. She was with a customer, doing her whole personal stylist routine. I walked past the customer without stopping and went straight to the back office. Riley followed, annoyed, but trying to maintain her professional facade. I placed the legal documents on her desk without saying a word. Demand for full payment. 30 days. Consequences clearly outlined in bold print. You have 30 days to pay the full amount, $42,300. After that, I take the Audi and liquidate the business assets. She stared at the papers. This is a joke. Dead serious. You wanted to play games? Game on. Her face cycled through several emotions. Confusion, anger, then manipulation mode. You're really doing this because of a birthday party? Because your feelings got hurt? This is about a $52,000 loan you defaulted on. The birthday was just the cherry on top. I was going to catch up on payments. Business has been slow. Business has been slow because you treat it like your personal shopping account. You're done, Riley. Pay up or lose everything. She tried tears next. Simon, please. I'm your sister. We're family. No, we're not. Business is business. You've got 30 days. I left her standing there. From the parking lot, I called a vehicle recovery company. They were very interested in an Audi Q3 with a clear legal basis for repossession. Next stop, Mom and Dad's house. I found Isaac and Marla in their living room. They looked up when I walked in, and I could see they'd prepared some speech. Starting next month, you're paying your own mortgage, I said. All $1,600 of it. Mom blinked. Simon, we can't afford that without your help. Then I guess you better figure it out, like adults. Dad stood up, trying his intimidation routine. You're gonna put us on the street over a misunderstanding? Misunderstanding? You all showed up to Riley's party while I sat alone at the one I planned and paid for. That's not a misunderstanding. That's deliberate. What about the car? Mom's voice got smaller. You got that for Isaac's birthday, right? Yeah. Until you decided humiliating me was more fun than having reliable transportation. The CRV stays with me. You can't be serious, Dad said. The fusion is falling apart. Should have thought about that before you and your daughter pulled that stunt. That's cruel, Mom said, tears starting. We raised you. We fed you. You owe us. I don't owe you shit. Your wife? Dad started. Don't. Eve spent 3 months making Dad a handmade quilt. 3 months. She put her heart into it. And you chose Riley's party where I'm betting you got what? Pizza? Maybe some grocery store cake? The look on their faces confirmed it. I headed for the door. Figure your lives out. By Tuesday morning, my phone was ringing nonstop. Now Uncle Bruce was calling. Aunt Christine. Even my cousin Nolan. Uncle Bruce left a voicemail. Simon, you need to calm down. Family doesn't do this to each other. Your parents need help. Riley's trying to build something and you're just being selfish. Call me back so we can fix this. I didn't call back. Instead, I sent a group text to all of them. I've been supporting these people for years. Riley owes me $42,300 and hasn't paid in 7 months. They organized a party specifically to humiliate me and Eve. If any of you want to help them so badly, feel free to open your own wallets. Otherwise, stay out of it. That shut most of them up. Uncle Bruce tried one more time. Your dad's my brother. I'm not going to watch him struggle. Then help him. Nobody's stopping you. I don't have that kind of money, Simon. Neither do I anymore. Figure it out. Aunt Christine took a different approach. She showed up at our house Wednesday evening. Eve answered the door while I was in the garage. Simon needs to understand what he's doing, I heard her say. Isaac and Marla are struggling. Eve's response was ice cold. They organized a party to exclude and humiliate us. They mocked a gift I spent 3 months making. And they've been using Simon as an ATM for years. He's done. But they're his parents. Being parents doesn't give you a license to exploit your kids. Christine tried to push past Eve. I need to talk to Simon. I came out of the garage. Christine saw me and immediately went into guilt trip mode. Simon, your mother is crying every night. Your father's health is getting worse. You're killing them with this. No, I'm not. They want family? They should have acted like it. She left, but not before saying family was forever, and money was temporary, and that God is not proud of what I am doing. Right. Of course she pulled this card. The consequences rolled out over the next few weeks like dominoes falling. Week 1. Riley's Audi disappeared. The repo company towed it from her workplace parking lot in the middle of the afternoon, in front of everyone. She posted crying videos on Instagram, claiming her vehicle was stolen, asking if anyone had seen it. The Audi sold at auction for $21,400. That amount was immediately applied to her debt, bringing what she owed down to $24,700, plus the accruing interest. 3 weeks later, her boutique closed. Turns out when you default on a business loan and can't make rent, landlords aren't impressed. Colin handled the asset seizure, they sold off the equipment, and the lease got terminated. Riley tried to get emergency loans from 3 different places. They all checked her credit history, saw the defaulted business loan, and rejected her immediately. Now she works at Target, making minimum wage plus whatever tips she can hustle. She lives in a studio apartment above a Chinese restaurant where the smell of fried rice is inescapable. Her new boyfriend Tate is a wannabe influencer who plays games online and borrows money from her that he never pays back. My parents held out longer, but not much. The first month, they survived by borrowing from Uncle Bruce and selling some of Mom's jewelry. The second month, they were late on everything. The mortgage company started calling daily. Dad got a part-time job at a hardware store, which with his back must have been torture. Mom joined one of those pyramid schemes selling weight loss shakes. The fusion died completely in week 6. Just shut off in a parking lot and never started again. The repair would have cost more than the car was worth. Since then, they've been walking or catching rides from neighbors. By month 3, they got an eviction notice. 30 days to pay up or get out. They ended up in a 2-bedroom apartment in a rough part of town. The kind of place where you hear sirens constantly. The rent there is actually higher than their mortgage was, but with destroyed credit, no bank would work with them. 6 weeks after I'd cut them off, everything came to a head on a Thursday night, around 9 p.m. Someone started pounding on our front door. Not knocking. Pounding. I looked through the peephole and saw Riley. She looked like she'd been crying for hours. Hair a mess. Makeup smeared. Wearing clothes I recognized from years ago. She was swaying slightly. I opened the door but didn't step aside. What do you want? What do I want? She laughed, and I could smell it on her breath. I want my life back. I want you to stop being a vindictive jerk and fix what you destroyed. She was holding something. Took me a second to realize it was a bottle, half empty. You destroyed my business. You took my car. You ruined everything because you couldn't handle one family dinner. You defaulted on a loan. Actions have consequences. I was building something. Her voice got louder. Neighbors were starting to look out windows. I had a plan, I had customers, and you threw it away because your EGO got hurt. Riley, you need to leave. Eve appeared behind me. You need to go. Now. Riley focused on her, and something ugly crossed her face. Oh, here she is. The perfect wife. Tell me, Eve, does it feel good? Does it feel good watching him destroy his family over your stupid quilt? Excuse me. Eve's voice went cold. That pathetic quilt you made. Like anyone wanted that cheap handmade garbage. You think you're so special because you can sew? Newsflash, nobody cares. That crossed a line. I stepped forward, putting myself between Riley and Eve. You don't talk to my wife. Ever. Leave. Now. Or what? You'll ruin my life some more? Too late, Simon. You're just a bitter loser who can't handle people having fun without him. She was getting more agitated, gesturing wildly with the bottle. You think you're so great because you climb poles? You're nothing. Just a high school graduate who got lucky. Last warning. Leave. Make me. That's when she did something stupid. She threw the bottle, aimed right at Eve. I moved fast, got my hand up. The bottle hit my palm instead of Eve's face, bounced off and shattered on our front step, glass and liquid everywhere. Riley stared at what she'd done, And for a second, reality seemed to hit her. Then she ran. Eve was already on her phone calling 911. The police arrived in under 10 minutes. They found Riley 2 streets over, sitting on a curb crying. Our neighbor had the whole thing on video. "Do you want to press charges?" the officer asked after taking our statements. I looked at Eve. She had a cut on her arm from a glass shard. "Yes," I said. "I want to press charges." They arrested her for assault and public intoxication. The next day, I went to the courthouse, filed paperwork for a restraining order, brought the video evidence, Eve's photos of her cut arm, witness statements from our neighbor. The clerk processed everything efficiently. The temporary order went into effect immediately. Riley couldn't come within 100 yards of me, Eve, or our house. No contact through any means. Violation meant immediate jail time. 2 weeks later, the court date for the restraining order hearing arrived. Riley showed up looking rough. She'd hired some bargain attorney who looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. The judge reviewed the evidence, watched the video, looked at Eve's medical photos, read through the police report. "You threw a bottle at someone's face," the judge said. "You were intoxicated on their property. You made threats. Do you understand how serious this is?" Riley tried to speak, but her attorney cut her off. He gave some speech about family disputes and emotional distress. The judge wasn't buying it. Permanent restraining order granted. You will maintain a distance of 100 yards from both Mr. and Mrs. Davis at all times. No contact through any means including social media or third parties. Violation will result in immediate arrest. Do you understand? Riley nodded, tears running down her face. The assault charge was separate. That went to the prosecutor's office. They offered a plea deal. 6 months probation, a fine, restitution for damages, and mandatory counseling. Her attorney advised her to take it. She did. But it got worse. My parents decided to double down. They started showing up at my work, first during lunch breaks, waiting by my truck. When I refused to engage, they escalated. They showed up during my shift, actually coming onto utility property to try to confront me. My supervisor had to escort them off the premises. Twice. "Simon, I like you, but if your family keeps showing up here, it becomes a safety issue. Next time I'm calling the cops." They also started coming to our house. Different times, trying to catch us off guard. Pounding on the door, demanding I cover Dad's medical bills. Eve's car got blocked in our driveway once when they parked behind it and refused to move until I talked to them. The assault charge against Riley stuck. 6 months probation, a $1,200 fine, and $380 to replace our damaged light fixture. Her boyfriend Tate left her the day after the arrest. 2 weeks later, Mom called. Her voice was shaking. "Simon, please." "Your father collapsed at work. His blood sugar was dangerously high. He's in the hospital. We can't afford the bills." The old Simon would have been at that hospital in 10 minutes. "That's tough, Mom. Hope you figure it out. He could die, Simon. Your father could die because we can't afford treatment. You should have thought about that before you humiliated me and my wife. We were wrong. The party thing was stupid and cruel. We know that now. Please don't punish us by letting Isaac die. I'm not punishing anyone. I'm just not paying anymore. County hospital has programs. Look into it." I hung up. It was brutal. It hurt. But I meant it. 3 days later, Riley showed up at our house again. This time she looked completely broken. "I know about the restraining order," she said from our sidewalk. "I just need to say something. Please hear me." Eve stood next to me in the doorway. "Make it quick." "I'm sorry. I finally understand what I did. The party, the loan, mocking Eve's quilt, throwing the bottle, all of it." "Okay," I said. "Dad's in the hospital. Mom's falling apart. I'm working 2 jobs, barely affording a studio that smells like garbage. And it's all my fault." She was crying now. "I know I don't deserve help, but please don't let Dad die because of me. I'll work the rest of my life to pay you back. I'll sign anything. Do anything. Just please help him." I looked at Eve. She shook her head slightly. "This was my call. I'll think about it," I said. I made them wait 4 days. On day 5, I called Colin. "I need you to draft something. Multiple agreements, very specific terms." We met at Colin's firm conference room. Me, Eve, Colin at the head of the table. Riley, Mom, and Dad on the other side. Uncle Bruce, too, since he'd been involved. "Here's how this works," I started. "These are the terms. Non-negotiable. You sign all of them or you get nothing." First document to Riley. "After the Audi sold for $21,400, you owe me $24,700, plus $3,200 for additional legal fees and damages from the assault. Total, $27,900. You'll pay me $600 a month until it's covered, plus 6% interest. Miss one payment, we're done. Forever. No extensions, no excuses. The restraining order stays in place until the debt is paid in full. She nodded immediately. Yes, whatever you want. Second document to my parents. I'll cover Dad's critical medical expenses. That means insulin, necessary medications, and essential doctor visits. I'll also provide $400 a month toward rent. That's it. Everything comes with 6% interest and a 5-year payment plan. Once Dad's stable, you start paying me back. Miss one payment, the help stops immediately. We understand, Mom said quietly. You'll also attend financial counseling. Every session. I'll get progress reports. Skip one, the deal is off. Dad looked like he wanted to argue, but knew better. Okay. And the birthday. You're gonna post a public explanation of what happened. On Facebook, no sugarcoating, you're gonna own it. That's humiliating, Mom said. Yes, it is. One more thing. Eve gets an apology. In person. In front of all of us. Riley turned to Eve. I'm so sorry. The quilt was beautiful. You spent months on it, and I mocked it because I was jealous and petty. I'm sorry for the bottle, for everything. Eve nodded. Thank you. Mom and Dad added their apologies. Colin spoke up. Everyone clear on the terms? You violate any part of these agreements, Simon has the legal right to immediately cease all support. These documents are airtight. They all signed. Dad's hospital bill gets paid tomorrow. Riley's first payment is due in 30 days. Mom and Dad's rent assistance starts next month. The Facebook posts go up this week. The Facebook posts went up 3 days later. All three of them posted similar messages explaining what had happened. How they'd organized the secret party, excluded me and Eve, mocked her gift, treated me like an ATM for years. The comments were brutal. Family members asking what they were thinking. Some people defended them, but most didn't. Payments started coming in. Riley's first $600 payment hit my account on day 30. Right on time. Then her second. Then her third. Dad's medical situation stabilized. They got him on a proper diet and medication schedule. Mom and Dad attended every financial counseling session, learning basic budgeting. 3 months in, Riley was working 3 jobs. Target, grocery store, coffee shop. Grinding her down, but she kept making payments. The family dynamic was completely different. No warm feelings, no Sunday dinners. When we interacted, it was about payments, budgets, medical updates. Eve kept her distance. Polite when necessary, but never warm. She hadn't forgiven them for the quilt, and I didn't blame her. 9 months into the new arrangement, things were holding. Barely, but holding. Riley's $600 payments kept coming. Mom and Dad were in their second round of financial counseling. The $400 monthly I sent for rent helped, but wasn't enough for comfort. They had to work for the rest. The Honda CR-V was still in my driveway. Eve suggested keeping it. It's a reminder. The few times my parents came for budget meetings, they walked past that CR-V. I'd catch Dad looking at it sometimes. That expression of regret mixed with anger. I don't trust them, Eve told me. People don't change that fast. You think they're going to test boundaries? Eventually. See if you'll fold. The test came in month 10. Mom called. That practice tone. Simon, honey, your father's teeth are in bad shape. He needs dental work. Probably a few $1,000s. And that's not covered under the medical support agreement. We were hoping you could help. Does he need it to survive? Well, no, but he's in pain. Then it's not critical medical. Not covered. Son, he's suffering. Mom, we have a contract. Critical medical means life-sustaining treatment. Dental work isn't in our agreement. This is cruel. No, cruel was organizing a party to humiliate me and Eve. This is business. She hung up. 2 hours later, Dad called. Same conversation, same result. 2 weeks later, Dad got dental work through a county program. They'd figured it out. Month 11 brought Riley testing boundaries. Her payment was late. 5 days late. I waited until day 6. Where's the payment? Simon, I'm sorry. I got behind. Contract says 30 days. You're now 6 days into month 12 without paying month 11. 24 days to get current or we're done. I'll have it. 24 days. Not negotiating. The payment hit 13 days later. With a text, sorry for the delay. Won't happen again. I didn't respond. The payment said everything. 18 months in, things had finally settled into a rhythm. Riley's payments kept coming. She'd paid off about $10,800 of the $27,900. At this rate, another 3 years. Her Instagram was basically dead. She was just another person grinding through life now. Humbled. My parents were in year 2 of financial counseling. Still in that rough apartment. Dad at Lowe's. Mom doing call center work. They'd learned to shop at discount stores, clip coupons, plan meals. Resentment was still there. I could see it in Dad's eyes during quarterly reviews. He hated that his son was supervising his money, but he kept showing up. The new normal was cold, transactional, lonely in its own way. Some might call that sad. I call it self-respect. Sometimes I wish I had a healthy relationship with them as a family, but then I realize we will never have one. Some bridges stay burned, and I'm okay with it. You can't force people to value you. All you control is whether you let them keep exploiting you. I stopped letting them. Now, life's good. Really good. YouTube just dropped this new hype feature. If you're hooked on this story, smash that hype button. It tells YouTube this video deserves to blow up, and it keeps even crazier stories coming your way.